Hello, boys and girls. This is Anna with Traffic Generation Cafe. This past week, we've been talking mostly about social media at the blog, so I thought that this would be a very good way to end the week. Basically, what I would like to talk to you about today is Twitter. To be quite honest, I'm not a very good Twitter user, although some would argue. But I really don't like Twitter. It's just very noisy. It's a lot of people there that don't know what they're doing. It's just not my type of thing. But I do love Twitter for the way it generates traffic to a traffic generation cafe. It has been one of my top referring traffic sources up until very, very recently, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Basically, what happened probably about a week ago or so is Randy Pickard of Internet Marketing Remarks took a look at my Google Analytics account just to see if there's anything going on there, if there's something wrong, or things that I could be doing better than I'm doing right now. So, and what he discovered and brought to my attention is that Twitter actually is not my primary referral traffic source any longer, which was really very surprising in some ways, but at the same time, I wasn't surprised because I did make a change to the way I operate on Twitter probably about 2 months ago or so. In the very beginning, what I did is that I went for the quantity. In about 2 to 3 months, I had about 50,000 followers on Twitter, and I had just about any traffic I ever wanted from Twitter. So, what happened a couple of months ago is that I read a few articles about people talking about how Twitter should be more personal, and you'll get a whole lot more if you spend more time networking on Twitter. So I bought into that. I stopped doing any kind of automation, and I just started networking with people, thanking them for the RTs and all of that. And that worked great for people that were already my friends, people that I have not networked with in the past. Who are bloggers that constantly come to my blog to read my content. So that was great, but I wasn't getting any more new traffic. And that's the question that I want to pose to you today. All those people that are talking about quality on Twitter, basically they're like salmon swimming up the stream. The reason for that is because statistically, about 90% of new Twitter users will never come back to Twitter in about 30 days after they first signed up for it. So you have about 30 days to capture 90% of the new users coming to Twitter. That's it. If you were to spend your time networking with them and trying to break through all the noise that's out on Twitter, you might have a bit of a hard time getting there. That's just my personal opinion, but not just personal, I take it back. That's also what Google Analytics told me, or Randy Pickard, through Google Analytics, I should say. But anyway, so basically, if you are going for quality, you are missing out on all those people that come to Twitter, don't know what to do with it, and leave. So, the best Twitter strategy for you ever is to grab those new folks as soon as possible, capture their attention, and bring them to your blog. This is your primary goal on Twitter, is to bring people to your blog where you can actually network with them. Twitter is really, I know there will be many questions and many objections on this one, but Twitter is a horrible place to network. So, I vote for quantity over quality. Get as many Twitter followers as you can, bring as many of them as you can to your blog, and then network with them. So, with that in mind, I want to move to the second part of this message, of this video blog post, and I would like to tell you of how to do this best, I suppose. So, what I would suggest you do is, number one, have more than one Twitter account. I have 6. The reason for that is because, as you know, you can add only a certain number of followers per day on Twitter. So if you have only one account, it's going to take you a long time to add them up. Remember, we're going here for quantity, not for quality. So As I said, I have 6 of those accounts, and that's been working great for me. Next, what I would like for you to do is to compose a direct message that will benefit your followers, not you. Now, this is a little secret that I will let you in on, and many of you who did come from Twitter to my blog know about this, but very few of you are actually using it from what I can see. What I do is I created a page on my blog that lets my visitors promote themselves. Basically just open, talk about their business, post their links, do whatever they want to on that page. And that's the link bait that I have for them. Basically they come to the page, first of all they get my direct message, of course, and the direct message will say, hey, no strings attached, just come to my blog and promote your business. And they do. And after they do come to my blog, they stay, they read, and that's how we connect. So that's number 2, compose direct message that calls people to action. Not one of those, hey, come and check out my blog, come and check out my Facebook fan page. It doesn't work, it just doesn't, you probably know that. But make it beneficial to them, and they will come. And then number 3, make all of this as automated as possible, because you probably know how much time all of this takes, and this is one of the major concerns for all people that are thinking of using Twitter as their traffic generation strategy. It takes time. Well, what I do is I found Twitter editor, and what that does for me is it basically automates the whole process like you wouldn't believe it. Right now, actually, as I'm talking to you, it's running in the background, and today I will probably add close to 3,000 new followers to be added to, for them to follow me. I'm sorry, I think I need a cup of coffee again. Anyway, so I will potentially add about 3,000 new Twitter followers just today, and if I do it every day, you do the math. So this automated software pretty much does all the work for me. What I do with it is that I research the targeted followers, which is very important. You don't want any dog lovers to come to your internet marketing blog, although I get that too. But anyway, you do want to target them as much as possible. Excuse me for 1 second. So you want to target your followers, you want to send requests, you want to automate your direct messages. Obviously, you don't want to do it by hand because there's just absolutely no way. You also want to unfollow your followers every once in a while. Why? Because if you don't do that, eventually you will go over the Twitter limit, because as you probably know, you're not allowed to follow more than 10% of the folks that are following you. So if 2,000 people are following you, you're allowed to follow only 2,200. So that's not really very much, only 200 above that 2,000. So anyway, so definitely unfollow, put yourself on a schedule. I do 3 days of the week I follow people, then 1 day I unfollow, 3-day follow, 1 unfollow. So that's basically how I do it, so that you can stay on the good side of Twitter and still get those potential followers to your blog. Now, those of you who will start saying, well, Anna, it's all about the numbers, and that's just not networking. And you know what? That's fine. It is about numbers, and the numbers are saying, as I told you, that 90% of the users will not return. So I would rather get them to my blog as soon as possible, and I want to see you do the same thing. So, again, more than one Twitter account, automatic software. I highly recommend Tweet Editor. You know me, I don't recommend things lightly. That's the only, there are 2 pieces of software that I use for Twitter, and this is one of them, and I absolutely do mean it when I say you need this to milk the Twitter for all it's worth. So click on the link below. I will post the link back to Tweet Editor. I would love it if you can buy it through my affiliate link. Yes, I do make some money off this blog every once in a while, so I'd appreciate you helping me with it. And ask me questions. The software is very self-explanatory. I've written a lot about Twitter on the blog. Just do search for Twitter, and you'll find a lot of good information on how to use it best to your advantage. So I'd like to hear what you think about it. Are you a quantity or quality person? What do you think about switching to quantity only? And how do you think that might actually benefit your business? I do want to hear from you in the comments below. And thanks so much for listening to me blabbering. And here's my cup of coffee goes to you. And I will see you again on video on Sunday for my Sunday morning cup of coffee with Anna. Until then, cheers.